Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we're going to be looking at a Mauser Red 9. These were made during World War I as part of a 150,000 gun contract for the Imperial German Army. And a lot of these were put to different use after the war. So a lot of these guns, actually their more interesting story happened after the war, because a lot of them went to Scandinavia, all over the world, actually. There's ones that showed up in South Africa, just all kinds of places, and a lot of them actually had very interesting histories in Germany. Now, obviously, once Germany lost World War I, things got a little bit chaotic. There were a lot of bored and unemployed and out of the army soldiers who really had no prospects, didn't know what they were going to do. They're unemployed, you're not getting any kind of pay, and so what do you do all day? In a very chaotic country with a lot of guns floating around, you drink a lot and you start political parties, and this is one of those guns. So the gun itself is just a standard Red 9. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking at this. I've done plenty of videos on Red 9s. This is a very standard one, nothing amazing at all about it. You've got your Red 9 grips as always. This one is actually cocked with the safety on. Just wanted to illustrate how much of a pain in the rear end the safety is to manipulate on these. This one, when it's cocked, you can, of course, put it down into the fire position. But then to put it back onto the safe position, you actually can't do it one-handed. You have to pull the hammer back even further, and then with your other hand, you can apply the safety. Why Mauser decided to do that is sort of incomprehensible, but this was what they decided to do. So make it a little bit harder to, I guess, apply the safety. Really easy to take it off, really hard to put it back on. So let's uncock this gun here. Then you can put the safety on one-handed, no problem, when it's uncocked, but whatever. You've got your standard 500-meter rear sight, and everything else is very standard on this one. But the real interesting thing about this one is on the right grip is branded an EWB, and this was a group that sort of a I hate to say it's a precursor to the Nazi Party, because their ideals certainly weren't in line with the horrendous ideas that the Nazis had. I'm not going to say that the EWB guys were completely nice, because a lot of Nazis came out of them. But they were more of a German nationalist organization related to the Freikorps, or the Freikorps, or however you'd like to pronounce it. And they were just sort of a paramilitary group that would go around and fight communists and sort of, we'll put it as German nationalism is the best way to put it. This gun is branded with that as part of their property. You'll see this on a lot of Lugers. You'll see it on K98 rifles. You'll see it on just a lot of, firearms and stuff like that in general. But this is a Red 9 that had a pretty interesting history through a rather tumultuous time in German history, certainly. And it's sort of got the been there, done that look. It's definitely got some speckling on it, and it's seen quite a bit of carry. It does have a stock which actually has the EWB branded in it as well. And we'll get to Mauser stocks and all that kind of good stuff down the road. Right now I'm just focusing on the guns. But just if you ever come across a Red 9 in particular, seems to be the guns that are going to be most commonly associated with this, that have an EWB or something similar branded into them. That's what you're going to be looking at. Those are guns which were associated with post-World War I use by paramilitary organizations. EWB seems to be the group that did the most of that, and just kind of explains what was going on in the chaos of Germany. These guns would be arming those units, and pretty much they were limited to fighting street battles with some police with some communist units, stuff like that. Just Germany was pretty chaotic at the time. I'm not going to get into all the stuff about it. Unfortunately, the Bavarian police in particular did not crack down on EWB. They sort of let them run wild, and unfortunately, they were kind of the precursor to a lot of the Nazi Party. Maybe if they had been a little more clamped down on them and stopped some of that, you could have avoided the horrors of World War II, but, you know, that's just sort of hypothetical conjecture. The gun itself, though, is interesting and definitely been through a lot of history. If you've got an EWB gun or a Luger that's got EWB or really anything, I'd love to hear about it, so drop it in the comments. And as always, remember to like and subscribe because we're always looking at interesting military stuff. Thanks for watching.